From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's the Executive Spotlight.
Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest is Jeff Liebler from APC. Welcome.
Thanks, Brian. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. I'm going to start with a doozy of a question. This is not an easy one. So, young people right now really kind of look down on the car business, and they're not really excited to get into the car business. They don't want to be car salesmen. There's kind of a stigma against it. What can we do about that?
Pet peeve of mine, having been a dealer for 30 years.
Yeah?
Yes. We all watched the movie Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
And we saw what those stockbrokers did. So why are those stockbrokers a higher prestige than being a car salesman? I really don't get it. And I also believe that someone looking at the auto business as a career after college, what I would say to them is, number one, it's never going to look bad on your resume. You put on your resume that you sold cars, that's going to start a conversation in any interview you're ever in. And if you explain it in such a way as, listen, I had to learn to walk up to people from all different walks of life, shake their hand, try to create rapport with them, that's a talent that works in any industry. And if you look at the ladder of success, when I came out of college, probably when you were younger, you went to work for a particular company, you stayed there for 5 years, 10 years, you worked your way up that ladder. The auto business allows you to make those income jumps outside of the ladder. And the people who have the talent to make it in the car business will jump ahead of their people that they graduated with that were following, the old school way.
So Jeff, you know what my first job was after I graduated college?
I don't.
Build a Lord, Pontiac, Olds, Buick, GMC.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, my father said the same thing that you did. He said, you can make a lot of money in the car business. And if you want to be in the car business, you better go sell cars for at least a year. And so I went and sold cars for a year, was a manager for a little bit, and then I got out and became a consultant. But you learn a lot.
And there's a lot of facets to the car business. An actual dealership's got a parts business within it, a service business within it, a rental business perhaps, maybe a body shop. It's such a dynamic business with so many facets that there's a lot of directions you can take once you're in it. There's an accounting function that perhaps you work for an auto group and do their financial statements. A dealer's got to produce a financial statement every 30 days. That's one piece. Maybe it's HR. There's so many ways you can go within the industry. It will never hurt you in a future career.
Yep. Well, and technology is touching every single bit of the dealership. Do you see, and actually I hate to ask you all ththese hard questions back to back to back.
That's all right.
Do you see technology, overtaking dealerships and making them obsolete?
Absolutely not. What a car dealership does, no drop-down menu can do, no chat can do, because it is a complex business. Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with a customer, you're handling financing for them. You may be helping them get credit where if it was something that was done automatically, they would get turned down. There's a trade-in that's involved in it that you have to deal with. Maybe that customer owes $5,000 more than what their payoff is. There's so many pieces of that puzzle. I think technology is there to assist. It's there to make it more efficient, but I don't think it'll ever replace it.
Here comes the third hard question in a row. What is the purpose of franchise laws?
Franchise laws protect a dealer and the investment that they make. A dealer makes a major investment in real estate and in facilities, in training, technicians. There's a lot of money that is spent. And then they have to pay floor plan expenses on all the inventory that they have sitting on that lot. So in the early days, manufacturers produced cars and they couldn't afford to produce as many as they would like. But once they sold them to the dealership, that created the income that they needed to produce more. So the franchise laws were developed along the way because manufacturers don't fully respect what a dealer has to do to represent them in the marketplace. And every time they come out with a new product and give you a new version of your dealer agreement, they're always trying to slide something in there that allows them to go direct and around you. My brother was a National Dealer Council chairman for a brand, and he actually went to the president of that brand at NADA and says, "How do you view your dealers?" And the answer from the president was, "We see you as an asset." And what that told me is that they don't totally value what the dealer does for them. And the franchise laws protect the dealer from being terminated or being replaced.
You kind of touched on how dealers helped manufacturers to produce more vehicles. But dealers also help customers, and you kind of talked about that a little bit in a couple answers ago. Talk to me a little bit more about some of the things that dealers are uniquely qualified to help customers with that maybe manufacturers would not be able to do.
First of all, it's the hands-on coverage. A customer would like to be able to go someplace and handle all facets of a transaction. And a lot of those can't be done from home, as everyone might think you want. So the first thing that a dealer does is he provides that one-stop shop where they can do their financing, they can do their trading in, and they can do their servicing. Beyond that, when it comes to servicing the vehicle, there may be recalls. There may be things that come out that the manufacturer says, hey, we have a campaign for this. This might be happening in your vehicle, without making it a full-scale recall. Well, a dealer, if he has that technical service bulletin and has a customer in front of him that he has a relationship with, he's going to say, have you experienced anything like this? And might pick up that subtle repair that the manufacturer wouldn't necessarily want everybody out there to know about. There's a lot of counseling that goes on in a service department also with a customer about how they should service their vehicle, the intervals that they should do it at. It may be the operation of the vehicle. Customer may have a complaint and it's just because no one showed him how to use it. And I think that the dealer fills in all of those spots that if you had to talk to chat or some version of AI, you're not going to get a satisfactory answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody knows how to program the garage door opener on
Correct.
a car.
Right.
Nobody does. And if it wasn't for a dealer, I don't think chat could teach you how to do it.
Exactly.
So let's talk about direct sales, because Tesla brought direct-to-consumer sales to the United States. Is that something that the other OEMs want, could do? Do you see it coming? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think if you got all of the manufacturers in a room and you asked them and they weren't going to be taped and it wasn't going to play to the public, they would say, yes, we'd love to go direct to consumer. But a vehicle is not a TV that you're buying from online. It is a living, breathing product that has to be maintained and needs explanation involved with it. And I don't think you could ever replace what a dealer adds to that equation.
When there's a thing that I've heard from a lot of our guests. Private equity will compete with everything they can, except for things that Amazon and Google can touch. Well, Amazon's touching the car business now, and so where do you see that going? I mean, is that a big threat to us?
I think initially it's seen as a threat just because the way manufacturers might use that as the way to get around franchise laws if they can. Mm-hmm. I think it will have a piece of the business. I think there's a youthful buyer that may want to go that route. But I think there'll be fallacies and problems with that they will find along the way, which are those gaps, like when they have a serious question and they can't go put themselves in a dealership in front of a person and they're trying to do it with chat to get an answer. There's going to be some drawbacks to it. So I think they will have a small piece of it, but I don't think it's ever going to overtake.
I mean, as things settle in, like, do you see it being more like where, okay, at Costco I can get a discount on a vehicle, but I'm going to get it delivered by a dealership? Is Amazon going to land there, or do you think that Amazon's actually, going to try to have a nationwide footprint where they're directly competing with car dealers?
I think they're putting their toe in the water to see if they could take it there, and I think they're going to find that they can't overcome it all.
It might be easier things to disrupt.
If I'm a consumer and I see more middlemen involved in my transaction, everybody wants a piece of it. There's not going to be a perception like I can get if I shop 3 dealers and compare those prices.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Amazon, I think, would have a big challenge too in the fact, how do you put a number on a trade that you can't see? How do you help a person, get a co-signer? How do you help a person, get money down or improve their credit? I mean, there's a lot of things. Or how do you switch them to a car they can afford? There's a lot of things that you can do at a dealership that you probably can't do on an app.
You have the average car on the road right now is 12.8 years old. A lot of those customers would love to come out of their vehicles and go into a new one right now, but they are what we call upside down, where they owe a significant amount of money more than what that car is currently worth. Amazon's not going to solve that issue. A dealer who has the interest of profitability and being a dynamic businessman is going to figure that out for the customer.
Well, Jeff, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today before we go?
I just think dealers need to have more respect than they get, both from their manufacturers, who work directly with them. You think they would have more, but also from consumers. They are dynamic people in their marketplaces. They're sponsoring the Little League teams. They're raising money for charity. I know in the state of New Jersey, where I am, it's a $47 billion industry that's collecting over $2 billion in sales tax for the state of New Jersey, and is employing 74,000 people. So I think they need more respect for what they do, both for their states and their communities.
Thank you for coming in today, Jeff.
Real pleasure.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest has been Jeff Liebler from APC. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one's Over the Curb and Burning Gas.